Can we please let them live on with some pride and die with dignity if it gets to that? Please let them live with a bit of pride. Call today's video a rant, a complaint, like a Karen, whatever you want to call it. What I mean is more reports midweek about vehicle manufacturing could be possibly starting again in Australia, and or imports from overseas into this country could replace your Australian made vehicles. I'll get to one of those reports today, but can we please stop these BS reports and let our Australian made vehicles live on with some pride? Let's get to today's video. So I'll get to one of the reports in today's video. Now, people saying that they love vehicle manufacturing in Australia when it was here, and it was quite sad when a lot of people lost their jobs, and I was a lot of my family members were part of that. But it's just not going to happen. New vehicle manufacturing is not coming back to this country, and that's just the simple truth, whether you like it or you don't. So as we know, the Holden Commodore was the best-selling car in Australia for a good 15 years.
The revolution continues.
As the FALCON was before that.
Introducing new Ford Falcon GL.
And obviously the old style vehicles the Holdens and Fords made, your Kingswoods, your GT Fords and stuff like that, Tiranas, they were obviously the best-selling vehicles in Australia for quite a few periods of time. But obviously the world has moved on, and it's now imports that are the best-selling because we don't make vehicles in this country anymore, as you know. So I'm just going to go over this actual report here. I'll put a couple of screen captures up. I'm not going to go over it fully. I'll just go over briefly. This is coming from someone from a company called Car Expert. And by all means, they're probably more of an expert on vehicles than I am. But this being a car channel, I'm going to go over it and I'm going to give you my opinion. Now, the headline states, Holden's dead, but General Motors could build cars specifically for Australia and Europe. GM doesn't develop vehicles specifically for Australia or Europe anymore, obviously, but its European boss has suggested that this could happen once again. Okay, so here's a screen capture also of one of the vehicles, which is just obviously an AI model, but would you seriously buy this if it was made by GM? Coming from these type of GM vehicles, the one here and also the one behind the camera, would you buy that? Let me know in the comments. After selling off Opel and Vauxhall, shuttering Holden and shrinking its global footprint overall, General Motors is now rolling out electric vehicles to expand once again. Okay, and bespoke models for different markets could be part of this plan. Okay, well, if that's going to replace these, then good luck with that. So this is quoting from General Motors also themselves. We craft cars that we don't have in the US, but we have them in other markets. General Motors Europe President and Managing Director Perry Bogle told Autocar, whoever that is. Not all of them are available in the US, and not everything which is available in the US is available for China customers or European customers. In the future, can it be that we create a car that is just for Europe, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, Korea? Maybe it can be. While GM has sold off Opel, Vauxhall, its Thai plant, or closed various operations, GM, India, Holden, etc., it has retained manufacturing and right-hand facilities in key markets like South Korea, Latin America, and China. It also continues to build and develops vehicles specifically for China and for emerging markets like Latin America. Here's another photo of a AI, obviously, model of a GM electric vehicle. Again, would you purchase this? China, for example, has the Buick GL8 People Mover and Veyron Pro Sedan, the Cadillac GT4 crossover and SUV and CT6 sedan, as well as a trio of EVs in the Chevrolet Menlo and Buick VTOL 6 wagons and Buick Electra E5 SUV. Despite mounting losses in China, GM is continuing to invest in the world's largest auto market, where Electra is now a sub-brand of Buick, selling plug-in hybrid and electric vehicles. GM axed Holden in 2020, which we obviously know, but it has maintained a presence in Australia through its GM Specialty Vehicles, GMSV. I mean, that just rolls off your tongue like HSV, clearly. Yeah. division, and more recently through the Cadillac luxury brand. GM SV and Cadillac vehicles are sold through two different retail networks and offer a mix of factory right-hand drive vehicles, all explained in the screen capture right there. Unlike most of the vehicles sold by the now defunct Holden brand, both GM SV and Cadillac are now focused on more expensive low volume models, and GM no longer insists on having full line of mainstream offerings. GM has had a key global focus with the Cadillac brand, engineering a range of electric SUVs for sale across the myriad left and right-hand drive markets around the world, including a growing number in Europe. If GM wants to expand its presence in Europe, more affordable EVs, almost certainly under a different brand, would most likely be on the agenda. So vehicle manufacturing in this country started to go downhill from when, in my opinion, Bob Hawke and Paul Keating removed import tariffs off of imported vehicles in the late 1980s and early 1990s. And obviously the Australian market, the manufacturing could not compete with mass-produced vehicles being imported into Australia. I don't agree with everything that Donald Trump does, and I'm the biggest fan of him, and some of his decisions lately have been a little bit eye-opening, but what he's doing about putting imports on imported products into his country, maybe we should have done that, and it would have maybe helped and possibly saved vehicle manufacturing in this country. But we'll guess we'll never know now, because that's long gone in the past. No one that I know is buying these imported vehicles, electric vehicles and hybrids, to replace their Australian-made vehicles. It's not going to happen. Need to get over that theory that that's happening into the future. It's not happening. For people that I know, definitely not happening. New car manufacturing is not starting up again in Australia. Get that out of your heads. It's not economically viable for a new company to start making vehicles in Australia with such a small population. It can't compete with the mass-produced electric vehicles from overseas. It's just a simple truth. So yeah, stop thinking that new car manufacturing, or they're going to revive Holden to start making new Holdens again in this country. It's just not going to happen. Just get over that theory, because it's not going to happen. This video a rant, a complainy pants like a Karen, whatever that may be, but please, let's just live in the memory of Australian made vehicles like Holden here, a Holden there, your Ford Falcons, your Mitsubishi Magnas.
So remember, Mitsubishi Magna is still more fuel efficient than new Falcon, Commodore and Camry.
Your Toyota Camrys that were made here in Australia, your old school Holdens and old school Fords. Let's just live in the memory of what we had. Let it die with some dignity. Please stop these BS reports about EVs coming into Australia and replacing Australian made vehicles. Let's just get over that. Yeah, call it a rant, whatever you want to do with this video, I don't care. And if you're an electric vehicle or hybrid vehicle lover, you've come to the wrong place, the wrong channel to find love for those vehicles on this channel. Like, subscribe, whatever you want to do. Thanks for watching.